Hello, right, it is Saturday morning. I'm just about to go out and do that £20 shop to last me about 10 days now. I did need to go and buy some other things earlier. So it's shopping day. I'm not sure which shop I'm going to go to. Might end up in Sainsbury's, and that's because I like the big major supermarket to be able to get everything I need. However, that doesn't mean I won't call somewhere like Lidl or Home Bargains, depending if I can't get everything I want at a reasonable price. Let's go shopping. I'm just walking down from the car into the local Sainsbury's. I parked a little bit further away than I normally do, and it's very, very icy along here. Very cold day at the moment. So just about to go into the store. And I'm already tempted by the special offers. Look at that. But you can't resist these cheese biscuits, can you? For 40 pence for a pack. I can't resist looking at some of these special offers along here. I'm trying very hard not to buy anything. I don't need anything. But you know what it's like when it's on special offer. You just think, well, it is an offer. I might as well get one. But I resisted anyway. I didn't buy anything. I'm just trying to choose sausages. Now, I love Richmond sausages, and they're only £1.50. They're the cheapest. However, I know that they're not particularly good for you. I think they're quite a lot of fat in them compared to other sausages. So I've ended up choosing something different this time. I've gone for Sainsbury's own Cumberland sausages. I thought that they might be really nice. Now, I know on the shopping list I decided I wanted some mince to make a bolognese, but actually I've ended up going for the meatballs again because they're on offer. Every time I come, the meatballs are on offer, and they're always a lot cheaper than the mince. I did evaluate it in the store. I did have a look at the mince and check the price out, but the meatballs won. So because the meatballs were on offer at £2.50 per pack, and I think I got 750 grams or something altogether, compared to the mince, it was a lot cheaper. The mince was £5 something for a lot less meat. Cheapest tomatoes as usual are the little cherry tomatoes at 89 pence. So I'll have some of those. Right, there wasn't much deliberation in the butter aisle. If you have watched me before, you will know that I'm a big fan of Lurpak. I like the taste of it. But I am looking there at something that's a little bit cheaper, and I'm wondering whether or not I should go for that. In the end, I went for the Lurpak. I just decided to pay the extra £1 and get a little pack. I had a lot of deliberation in the frozen veg aisle as well. It looked like a lot of it was 99 pence. Some of it was a bit more expensive, so I was trying to make some reasonable choices based on what was cheaper. When I was trying to work out whether it was cheaper to buy them as frozen or buy them as fresh. But I ended up getting some packs of veg, which we'll look at when we get back in the house. And I just picked up some bread. But I found quite a good deal for me, 59 pence for some wholemeal bread for a smaller loaf. It works well for me. And then I needed to get some buns, and again, wholemeal ones. I've decided to get, and they're only £1. And here I am deliberating over the ham. Just thinking about what's the best value, whether it's the wafer thin, which is relatively cheap, or the packs of sliced ham. I couldn't quite decide. I think I went with the wafer thin in the end. I just decided on one single red pepper. I didn't want to buy a pack. One would be enough, and that was 67 pence. And that's cheaper for me than buying a pack. They were quite expensive in the freezer. I went for fresh carrots. They're always a good deal. They're always really cheap. I find a nice bag of carrots, and they're so versatile. So these were 60 pence. So I'll probably get enough to bulk out the soup and some to put in the bolognese. And then I'm looking for baked potatoes here. And I've decided to go with the loose ones because that's better value for me. I get some that are better sized. Well, I am overspent by about a fiver. I know for a fact I would have been £2, about £2.50 overspent. I did buy a box of crackers that were really, really cheap, and I thought they would be a great addition just to supplement the diet. They were sort of Christmassy ones, and I did buy myself some yogurt. I want to start looking after my health. So I expected about £2.40 of an overspend, but I'm more. So let's get home, put the kettle on, and see what did the damage. We'll have a discussion as well, I think, when we get back about the price of food, because it's just completely and utterly increasing all the time. Right, so here we are back in the kitchen. I will put the kettle on in a minute, have a cuppa, but for now I just wanted to have a quick chat really about the price of food. I am absolutely astonished. It just keeps going up, doesn't it? I don't know about you. Let me know in the comments how you're managing. I just think it's really hard at the minute. I've struggled. I've got 20 quid. I wanted to make it last for about 10 days. I thought I could do it. I've gone £5 over budget. I probably could have done it within the £20 limit, but I've bought a couple of things for my health. And I think that's really important, isn't it? And we'll go through the haul anyway. I'll let you see what I bought, and I'll tell you why I bought the things that I did, and why I actually went over budget. And I think in the future, I think it'd be nice to have a chat about this idea of, you know, we do all have budgets, don't we? My budget is really a budget that sits where it does because I want to keep my emergency fund healthy. But I know some people, and you might be, you know, this might be you, I don't know. You know, some people are really, really on the breadline, aren't there? So there are people who just don't have an emergency fund even, and they can't afford to go over that budget. And I'd like to help you if that's you. I'd really like to think that what we do on this channel is helping you to manage your budget. Anyway, less of that. Let's get into this shopping and have a look and see what I got. See what things I got of value. Right, you can pretty much see everything that I got there, but I will go through everything in turn, and we'll talk about how much things were and why I did what I did. So let me talk about the first thing, which is some frozen veg, and somebody very kindly suggested that I get frozen veg rather than fresh veg, because it can be cheaper, and actually it can. So let me talk you through what I got. I got some sliced red onions. They will go in, all of these will go in stews, casseroles. So I'm making a soup and a bolognese, remember? So the onions will go in the bolognese and they'll go in the soup. I got some mushrooms, and so they were all 99p, the mushrooms, the onions, and the sweet potatoes, I do believe. Actually, they weren't. The onions were £1.50. You know, this is why I've overspent. So when I've pulled this veg off the shelf, it all looked like it was 99p, and it wasn't. And I'm really angry with Sainsbury's for doing that. I mean, sometimes it's not their fault. It's just that things get put in the wrong place. So I tried to get things that were £1, because that makes it cheaper than the fresh veg. So what was £1 was the mushrooms, which are cheaper than buying them fresh, and the butternut squash, which is probably cheaper than buying it fresh. But the sweet potato chunks were £1.80, and I'm very angry about that, because I know I can get sweet potatoes a bit cheaper. And the red onions, again, I can get them. Could have got a bag of ordinary onions for £1. I mean, it's great that I've got them and they can just pull out the freezer and go into something really, and make something really quick. But I didn't want to overspend. So there's part of my overspend. I'll just pop down here. I got my Lure pack. I'm deliberated about that. You may have seen in the supermarket part of the video, I nearly bought something different, but there was £1 difference, and I just thought for what I really enjoy, I'm going to go with my Lure pack, which was £3.50, and it's only quite a small pot. Got some garlic there, a bulb of garlic for 50p. I just like fresh garlic and I didn't have any left in. I have got garlic granules, but I really fancied those that nice fresh garlic there. I got some baking potatoes that were 89p for 3. And now I picked them out of the loose potatoes because the bags of potatoes, I think they were like £1 or something, and they weren't very big, and I like a good sized potato if that's what I'm having for my meal. Now I had minced beef on the list and I didn't get minced beef. Instead, I got these meatballs and they were cheaper. It was cheaper to buy 2 packs of meatballs than it was to buy an even less amount of minced beef. So they'll make me 4 or 5 meals, which is really good. And yes, it's not a spaghetti bolognese, but spaghetti and meatballs goes lovely. It's very similar, isn't it? I did treat myself to a pot of yoghurt there. It was £2. I do need some things to take in for lunches, and I do think a pot of yoghurt's a really nice option. So I can decant that into my own small pot and take that in as part of either my breakfast or following my lunch. I got my ham. I deliberated about that. You will have seen in the shopping part of the video, I deliberated over whether or not I wanted to buy the wafer thin or I wanted to buy the sliced. And the wafer thin came out on top because you got more weight in the pack than you did with the sliced ham. I did get some sausages and I opted for Cumberland sausages. I usually get Richmond. The Richmond are 150 and they're my favourites, but they're absolutely full of rubbish and they're not particularly healthy. Now, I know sausages are quite fattening compared to other meats, but at £1.79, I didn't think that was too bad for the Cumberland sausages. So hopefully, yes, they're not particularly healthy, but they're a little bit better than having just something that's full of, like, really full of nothing, even though they're tasty. So I got buns to go with my sausages, and the buns are £1. I didn't think that was bad. So I will have a look at the date on those. I may freeze some of those. I've got to have those for my tea one night because I'm going to have sausage buns. And I'll need a couple of them to take in for lunches, for sandwiches, for work. I may take soup in, but it's not as easy taking soup in. We can, but I prefer just to take a sandwich. It's just a lot easier. I managed to get a courgette. I just got one. I weighed that out. I thought I like the weigh out thing in Sainsbury's, and the courgette was 91p. So cheaper than buying from the freezer. I was looking at the Mediterranean veg mix and it was £2.50 or something, or £2.75. Also at the back there is a bag of carrots. Stamford Street, Sainsbury's cheap brand, 60p. They'll be great for the soup and great for the bolognese or the meatball dish to bulk that out. This loaf of bread was 50p. I didn't think that was bad. I don't particularly like the really, really cheap brands. You get the big loaf of bread for 55p. I've tried that before and really didn't like it, and my tummy started to tell me that I shouldn't be eating it. So I got some nice wholemeal bread, but it was only 50p because it's a smaller loaf, I think. And that's great for me because I'm by myself. I got a pepper because that will go in my meatball dish. And I also got some fresh tomatoes there. Just some baby plum tomatoes, 89p. They were the cheapest tomatoes I could find because they'll go in with my ham butties. And then I did get something that wasn't on the list, which is some Jacob's crackers. And the only reason I bought those is because they were 40p. They were obviously on a deal after Christmas. And why do I need them? They weren't on the list, they weren't in the menu plan, but I think crackers with cheese, crackers with Marmite, crackers with peanut butter, all those different things make a really good snack if you're a little bit extra hungry, and I can take some of them into work and snack on them rather than having chocolate and cake and what have you. So that's what I got. I don't think I've missed anything. I think we've gone through everything. So that's the little haul. I hope you found that useful. Okay, so that's us finished for this £20 over budget shopping haul. I hope you found that useful. Please let me know in the comments if you did. Please let me know if you would have done anything differently. That would be really helpful. Let me know if your January budget is going to plan. Let me know if you've done anything different than you would normally in January. And I hope to see you again in another video. My name is Suzanne. This is the Money Made Magic, where we try to help you save a little bit of money. I'll see you again in another video. Bye.